the Scorsese film, The Departed. Unbelievable film, but there's a line in it that apparently Freud said that the only race of people that can't be psychoanalysed are Irish people. Now, I'm pretty sure he never said that, but it's a fucking great line. And it always got me thinking, like, I grew up here, I love this place, I love the people more than anything, but we're very good at thinking things. We're not great at feeling them. We tend to push them away or push them down or repress them. So you could be at your mate's dad's funeral and you ask him, are you all right? And you'd be like, oh, I'm grand. I'm like, no, you're not. You're in bits. Like, and it's just this idea that we think it and we're all cerebral. But when it comes to feeling things and actually opening ourselves to that, we're not so good at that. And I completely understand it. Like, when you look at our history, it was a pretty mad history and that shit gets passed on. So I think Irish people, you know, tend to kind of avoid the feeling side of things. And why that's important is because when you open up that door, you don't know what you're going to get. You know, sometimes it can be lovely and sometimes you don't know what's going on and it's terrifying. And I think when I was a kid, I cut myself off from that shit. I just went to a school that you just had to survive to get through it. And I cut myself off emotionally and feeling to the world. And that was the right thing for me to do, got me through. But then I carried that into adulthood. So the space of truth is about that space between the thinking head and the feeling heart. So the idea that I know it sounds like a fucking 80s power ballad, but what I mean by that is you can think things, you can rationalize things, you can be practical, but then you can open up that feeling thing and if you can get that lovely little mix, that to me is the sweet spot, and that's the space of truth. So Be Your Truth is about, don't be afraid to feel the stuff. Don't be afraid to feel everything, even if it terrifies you a little bit. You might need help with that, I did, but it's the idea of, you know, Be Your Truth. And I was inspired by Michael Harding, who's been, I suppose, a huge inspiration for this in the whole album. His wisdom, the Irish Buddha. He said, it was from a Rumi quote, words can bring you to the door, but they cannot bring you into the house. And that's what I mean by thinking. We can think things, we can say words, but if you don't mean them, you don't feel them, they're just words. And that's what Be Your Truth's about.